Hello, Two Brain World. I am Jay Cohen, owner of Locomotion Fitness in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. Longtime Two Brain client. I was thinking about this the other day, 5 years now, which is insane. I am here today to talk to you about communication to your members, which I believe is one of the most important things that you need to be doing as the face of your business. Now, maybe this isn't you if you have a GM or head coach or somebody that is the day-to-day operator of the business, but it needs to be from someone up high that is clearly running the show. And that person needs to be communicating with the members in many, many ways. I can't tell you how many issues I have been able to avoid because I have been open with my membership on what's happening behind the scenes. So as a quick story, I outgrew my initial space, 2,600 square foot space when I first started. The building I'm in right now is 8,000 square feet, but I needed a bridge. I knew that I was past my capacity. We had a 12-person class going on, 3 personal training sessions, a foundation session. It was mayhem in that small space. And I needed more. Luckily, or what I thought was luckily, the building that was attached to mine was available or came available. It was only another 1,500 square feet. The ceiling wasn't high. It kind of looked like a dungeon, but it was going to serve the purpose. So I got that building. I signed the lease. I told the members that it was going to be amazing. I laid the floor. I painted it. It was amazing. Then I got a tax bill. And the property that I was on went from a valuation of $650,000 to $2.8 million in 1 year. My tax bill went from $10,000 to $40,000 by square footage. There was no way I was going to be able to afford that. So I needed to communicate with my members that we were going to be backing out of that space. Now, that was a very difficult thing to do because I basically had to tuck my tail between my legs and tell them that I messed up. I shouldn't have told you guys this because it wasn't 100% yet. And that communication worked wonders. If I had just let it go away because I was embarrassed, I think that people would have gotten upset. They would have wondered. They would start telling themselves stories that aren't true, but fit their narrative of what they think is going on in the business. And it's my job to make sure that I am clear and concise and calm, providing clarity and assurance to our members to make them know that everything is still going to be okay. And so when you communicate with your members, there's a few things that I want you to keep in mind. Number one, they will model your behavior. So you need to make sure that you have it together. If you're frantic and worrying about this thing and the other thing and all over the map, they're going to be the same way. They're going to get worried and they're going to take action that you don't want them to take. The other thing is it needs to be very clear. When we are not dealing in a face-to-face communication where people can read your body language, where people are able to sort of see different cues and hear your tone of voice, it is really important to be very, very clear. The other thing is that people learn different ways, right? So someone might see the written word of what's happening and think one thing and then watch you on video and actually understand that you weren't saying X, but instead you were saying Y. And that brings me to my second point, is making sure that you are trying multiple forms of communication. So sending out a newsletter or sending out an email, shooting a text message to your membership. If you've got something like a tech service, like a gym lead machine or Twilio or something like that. Putting it up on social media. Now, just be mindful with social. If it's something that you want only for your members, maybe that's not the best option unless you have like a members only group on Facebook, but maybe don't put it on your Instagram. And like in my case, when I had to back out of that building, that was something I just wanted to keep in our Loco fam, right? Our membership. I wanted them to know and communicate with them, but the world at large didn't need to know those things. Next piece of the puzzle is keeping tabs. Like once that stuff goes out, you need to make sure that you continue that conversation. So just posting it, especially if it's something that you don't love that happened, maybe you had to fire somebody, or maybe it was a coach didn't show up to their class in the morning. The tendency as humans is to like, okay, I got to get this thing up and then I'm going to run away because I don't want to deal with it anymore. Inevitably, that is going to lead to problems. Someone's going to comment something, or like you just need to mediate what is coming back your way so that you can start a dialogue and you can steer the conversation in a way that's going to be constructive. And it's not lying, it's not inflating things, it's just making sure that people don't get negative and take this the wrong way or take it in a way where they're highlighting the worst case scenario. It's your job to make them see the best case scenario. This is why it is going to be good for them. Next piece of this puzzle is I want you to really make sure that your coaches are on board with whatever you are telling your members. So if your message is one thing and your coach who is interacting with them on the daily at their class is saying something even slightly different, that is going to make your members lose trust in you. And they're not going to be sure that what you're telling them is the whole truth. So always, 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 just as important to talking to your members is talking to your staff, making sure that they are crystal clear on what they are saying to their members. And then maybe when the members respond, you want to be crystal clear with your coaches on what their job is to continue that conversation. So whenever I have something that is sensitive, anything politically charged, anything involving a coach, anything that could lead to a riff or a split, what I tell my staff is, hey, your job is to tell people what's happening. If people have specific questions in response, your job is to tell them that's as far as I feel comfortable talking about it. I will make sure I go to Jay, tell him your concerns, and he will reach out to you. That way I maintain control of all those conversations and I can make sure that they're progressing like I want them to progress. Even something simple like the holiday schedule. This is a great time to put this into practice, to think about all the different ways that you can communicate to your members what you're doing for your schedule, and not just what, but why. And that's the final piece I want to touch on today, is making sure that you share your why. People are much more forgiving, much more willing to engage and give you some slack and work with you if they understand why you are making the decision that you are making. So when my tax issue came up, I told them, I said, hey, look, our property was reassessed. I got a tax bill for this many dollars. If I wanted to stay there, I'd have to charge you guys $300 a month. And I didn't think you would want me to do that. So I made a decision to take a step back. Maybe if you make the call to close between Christmas and New Year's, which I thought about heavily this year. I decided not to, but that's on my to-do list at some point. Tell them why you're doing that. For me, the reason I was thinking about it, our attendance last year was 2 or 3 people in our classes for that entire week. And I believe that people would be better served if we would reallocate those staff hours to fixing the facility or going on a retreat so that we could dial in our coaching. And so I would just be very open in sharing that information with our membership so that they don't just think I'm shutting down for a week so that we can all go on vacation. So that is my advice to you on communication to your members. Remember, be clear, be concise, use multiple channels. Whenever possible, face-to-face conversations. Be extra careful with text. Be sure that your coaches are in the know. All of these things will make sure that what you are trying to convey comes across a little more clearly. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. Again, I am Jay with Locomotion Fitness, Two Brain Business. Don't forget, hit that notifications bell, subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of this awesome content. I will see you soon.